the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So the first item on the agenda, we're going to take these a little out of order here. We're going to take 50 Wharton Drive LLC first, because I don't see anybody here for Shakima Cheek. We didn't get any word from Mr. Dematko, whether he's coming or journeying?
Just upstairs.
Okay, all right.
He left being upstairs, so I don't know if he's coming back.
Okay, all right, so we'll go to the application of 50 Wharton Drive LLC for an area variance from the table of district use and bulk regulations for the SR 20 zoning district to permit 3 floors for a single-family residence currently under construction, where bulk table allows only 2 floors. This is being requested to avoid excessive grading and installation of a retaining wall. The property, which is the subject of the action, is SR 20 district, identified as section 229, block 3, lot 5 on the tax map, and is known as 3 Holland Road. I will note for the record that I have recused myself from the application. I'm a neighbor of 3 Holland Road. And I'll also point out for the applicant, with my recusal, there's only 3 board members here to vote, so you'd need a unanimous decision for your application. So we always offer the applicant the opportunity to adjourn their application should they want a full board here voting on it. We do have 1 member sick, and our 2 alternates have not shown up tonight. So we leave the choice to you, whether you want to proceed with just 3 members, or you want to wait for a full board. If you proceed with 3 members, you don't get a unanimous decision, your application is denied by operation of law. So you can't afford 1 no vote. So if you want to take a few minutes, make a call, think about what you want to do. Your option is, if you go forward and you don't get a unanimous decision, your application's denied, or you can say, you know what, I'll wait till next month, and hopefully you'll have 5 board members, and then you'll have an opportunity, so you can have 2 board members vote no, and you still can get your variance. You have
What's an anonymous decision?
Unanimous.
Unanimous.
Everybody votes yes.
Everybody has to vote yes.
It's a gamble.
Exactly.
It's a gamble. Yeah.
The odds are better.
Okay, so we'll make a call to him.
Please, be my guest.
Thank you.
Okay. So while we're waiting, why don't we move to number 3 on the agenda, the approval of the minutes of August 8th, 2023. You guys get all your comments in, you reviewed it, everything look okay to you?
Yep,
I didn't see anything that I objected to.
Okay.
same here.
Same here.
I just had a few comments, Rhonda, that
Yes,
wrote
I
in
will
for
take
you.
your comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I forgot to send them in, but there are a few minor comments just in verbiage. So I'll hand those to you, and
You can approve, if you'd like, you could approve it with corrections. If not, you can wait till next month.
yeah, and I'm ready to do that if they're, because mine is so minor. So just for the board's edification, my comments say in the first, or I should say 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph in the first page, where it talks about Chairman Baum stating he recused himself, and then it says, the next sentence, Chairman Baum, instead of saying gave voting rights to alternate member Sear, I want it modified to Chairman Baum appointed alternate member Sear to act as a voting member for this application.
Yeah, I'm glad you did that.
And then had Deputy Chairman Zuckerman chair the hearing for this application.
Yeah,
So
much improved. Yeah.
those were my 2 comments, and then I just noted that on the vote, where, on page 6, the bottom, where she indicated Chairman Baum abstained, I just want to note that Chairman Baum was recused.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
You're back.
Yeah, I'm back.
What are we doing?
Let's move forward.
You want to move forward? Okay. So with that, I'm recusing myself. I'm handing the mic over to Deputy Chairman Zuckerman.
Do you want to vote on the minutes before we get to his?
Yeah, right, yeah, why don't we finish that?
That's-
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, since we're there. So I'll make the motion to approve those minutes with those modifications.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. Okay, now, I hand the gavel over to Mr. Zuckerman.
Okay, we call the case, the continuation of the case involving the application of 50 Wharton Drive LLC for an area variance from the Table of Digest Use and Bulk Regulations, SR 20 zoning district to permit 3 floors for a single-family resident currently under construction, where bulk table allows only 2 floors. This is being requested to avoid excessive grading and installation of retaining walls. The property, which is subject to the action by the board, is located in the SR 20 district and is identified as Section 229, Block 3, Lot 5 on the tax map on the Village of Monroe and is known as 3 Holland Road. Who is representing the applicant?
And you are
Shea,
S-A-Q-A?
A-Y-A,
And your last name?
Einer, E-R-G, N-E-R.
And you are the applicant or?
I'm a friend of.
Okay. Yeah.
Hi, good evening.
How do you do? This is a continuation of the public hearing that was initially held on August 8th and was then adjourned into September and then adjourned to today. Originally, Jay Monroe was the attorney for the applicant.
Right.
We've received a letter from him that he was no longer representing you. That is correct?
Obviously, because I'm not familiar from the first day of the project. I just came in today, as the owner of the property wasn't able to come up. He has another board meeting, so he asked me, as I'm also familiar in the building department, like in the ZBAs, so he asked me to come down. So I'm not sure exactly who is attorney on board, but I understood that he is, but if he's saying not, most probably he's not. But he has an engineer, Kirk Rother, and then he had the plot plan which he sent me is from Kirk. So I'm not sure exactly who's on board from the attorney's side. But it makes a difference for the ZBA who's on board?
When it was left, certain information was to be brought in today, and we also asked for the possibility that an expert, an engineer, and the engineer working on this would come in, because we had a lot of questions to ask
Right.
about the property.
Right, so you tried to explain to me this question.
Slowly, so we can get on the record.
Sure.
Do you have any of that information? That
From what he told me to have, I have. So I'm
But
not
that-
sure. I'm not sure which questions you have. He gave me the information about the retaining walls and about the setbacks. He told me that was one of the questions last time.
you do not have anything additional than what was submitted with the application, is
No.
that correct? Okay.
Just
And,
facts.
can you answer the engineering questions that we might ask about the property?
I'll try my best. I will try. Yeah. Obviously, if I show up, I'll try my best to answer all the concerned questions.
Well, sir,
No.
I think the idea was that at the request that the board made last time was that an engineer or a landscape architect or somebody who had some experience in how one could perhaps conceal or otherwise improve the view shed around a property come to talk to the board about what alternatives there were in installing retaining walls in such a way that they wouldn't be injurious to the view. So
Right.
that's what we were.
So really, an engineer can draw a nice drawing how to make it, but for the look and how it's going to impact for the neighborhood, that's really a public question and a neighborhood question. And on a contractor's question, I'm a contractor, and it's very good when I'm going to an engineer and he's making me how deep to go and how big it should be to hold the capacity from the dirt. But when it comes to a street where you only have single families with 2 stories, and here you have a house which has a little bit coming out from the basement floor, so the only thing why we want to put on a retaining wall is because the grade level should be flush with the first floor. So it's just for the look of it, just for the outside, you should only see 2 floors. So therefore, he's saying he is approved to put on a retaining wall over there, a retaining wall, and he will make it look nice the best he can. But he's not going to spend tremendous amount of money. It should look beautiful since he's not an end user. He wants to make it the best he can. So what are you saying? He has no problem to put on a retaining wall. However, the neighborhood is complaining a little bit that they don't want to see they don't want to see a retaining wall, rather make it nice. And more than that, there is a setback of 35 feet in the height, which is right now, even before the retaining walls, it's only 33. Therefore, he's asking, I understand that based on the zoning, maybe you need only 2 floors above grade. But however, he's asking to have a variance to have this 5 feet about from the grade, which is now like this. He will be happy then that it's not costing so much. Also, the neighborhood would look nicer. I don't know if you saw the picture how it looks with the 2 rectangles on the 2 sides. It's a little not so nice when you see like a retaining wall. And also, you have to consider that when you have to bring in, you have like 20 feet by 5 feet, and you have to bring in tons of loads of dirt to fill up that property. It also make a big mess. So therefore, he's asking for a variance to leave it as is.
This is a lot more complex than you think.
Okay.
You do not need any variance from this board to put the 2 retaining walls up
Right.
on the property. We received a request from you for a variance so that the variance asked to allow you to have a 3-story house. The law is in the process of being changed or may be changed. I don't know whether the Secretary of State has approved a particular law redefining what a story is and redefining what a basement is, and utilizing more of the New York Building Code standard than the way the law read before. We would like to have an expert here that we can ask them questions to find out some facts about whether, under the new law, this would be a traditional 2-story apartment and little or no changes have to be made, to the to the property itself. So you wouldn't have to add anything to it or put up the retaining walls. But we need an expert to answer particular questions to see where this fits. So
Which is fits a retaining wall.
I'm going to ask questions
Try.
that I just do not think that you will be able to answer.
Okay.
Or
charging you for asking me
very
questions.
well should have somebody now speak to the building department to find out certain factors.
Like what?
Well, it's a legal question, but the question is, will this still be considered to be a basement? And you'd have to answer questions such as, does this have some, is this a certain distance above the grade plane?
Grade plane?
I have 6 or 7 questions myself, which I can try to ask you. I would ask an expert, the distance between the finished floor and the finished floor above, is it more than 12 feet?
No.
No?
It's not 12 feet. It's a 9-foot ceiling or 8. So then you have a
okay.
12 inches, and so it's max 10 foot. From the first floor to the second floor, right?
Again,
I have no problem. I'm not an engineer. You don't want to ask me questions? I can go home.
no,
It's not a problem.
No,
I can save with the same money. I'm an engineer. If you want to see my...
yeah, I'm trying to explain it to you. It's, as I say, it's a difficult case, but we want to make sure that before we grant or even consider granting any kind of a variance, whether one, it has been built according to New York State Building Code requirements, and 2 is it would fit into what may very well be right now the current definition of a basement and a story, since the measure of how it was determined before, it was whether it was 50 feet above the level of the
50% of the grade.
you okay? Which
Yeah.
it wasn't, okay? That is changing, or has changed. And I want to make sure that, I want to see whether it meets the current standard, so that
Okay.
I could save you the need, if we grant the variance, to do any additional or what you consider to be excessive grading.
Right. So you still want, you want that the engineer should come down.
I would like to have somebody here
I think I will go out to come in with a different jacket.
okay, who could answer more technical questions. And actually, I'm not even the one to be able to ask it for you. It should be questions that are asked by our building department
Right.
to somebody, because they have more of an expertise as far as
Right.
this type of engineering. Does anybody else have anything else,
Well,
anything to say?
I think the difficulty that I'm seeing here, it's Mr. Ergner, right? How do we
Eigner.
pronounce your last name?
Eigner,
sir?
it's okay, I'm
One
flexible.
one more time, please.
Eigner.
Eigner. Thank you, Mr. Eigner. The problem is that the board had requested that the applicant have somebody appear who could talk to us about what are, to my way of thinking, landscape architecture sorts of questions. How would we put in retaining walls and then use plantings or other techniques to make them less obtrusive? And if I've understood you correctly, that's not really your background. And so we can't, go into those lines of inquiry with you.
I'm actually building now over 250 feet of retaining wall,
Okay,
and more than that.
okay, so,
And I'm planting some bushes around that as well.
okay,
So I have no problem. No, I'm not an engineer. I'll say it again. But if it's a question how to install it and how to make it look nice and take it around with bushes, that's not an engineer. I don't feel like an engineer will be helpful for that. He knows how the computer works. He doesn't know.
well, okay, so let's put it another way around. Maybe you could give us a few words about what is your background and what are the sorts of things that you do that might make you qualified to have those kinds of conversations with us.
So I'm building already for the last
Are you
more than
a
a year.
general contractor, sir? Is
Yes.
that kind of what you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And actually, I worked before for Joel Mann. I think Davey knows him. And over there, Kay Carruthers was there. The engineer from this site plan. I dealt with him. I dealt with all the attorneys on board. So and then I left his office and I went out. And he actually has like all the AutoCAD and all this stuff like for planning processes. Then I left him and I went in the actual field. So I'm on field ready for the last 4 years, I would say. And I'm building the Woodbury, a lot of stuff. And so far not in the village of Monroe, but maybe soon. But
Okay.
so I have a little
So you
previous-
have a fair amount of general contracting experience. That's what you
again, if I can, okay, I can. I'm not sure I will be able to answer like an engineer question, but most of this sounds like a general contractor questions.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, the member who was most keen to have that conversation is also the member who's unwell this evening. But I don't know that that the general contracting experience is quite what we were expecting to get into those questions.
No, it was,
Okay. I think let's leave it open. I don't want to deny it. So let's leave it as is.
that- it's a difficult thing because you're on the cusp of something right here, okay? We have an application for a request to give a variance to make it to allow you to have a 3-story residence.
Right.
Hold
Okay,
on.
go ahead.
Okay?
I have to take notes.
That is the request. That would be very easy for us simply to make a determination that it is not in the best interests of the zoning board and the village to have the precedence of allowing a 3-story
Pause.
residence, single-family residence. We don't want to open up the floodgates to other people saying, well, you granted somebody that type of a variance. So we're looking at it. However, there has been now a change in what the definition of a story is and what a basement is,
So if it's,
which might mean that if we get the proper answers to particular questions, we might very well make some sort of a determination that this is more like, that this is really, in effect, as of the day we make that determination, simply a two-story building,
oh, so I don't need the ZBA.
okay? Because it would fit into the present definition of a story and the present definition of what a basement is. So you have everything to gain and nothing to lose, because if you simply just want to go ahead with it to ask for a three-story,
He denied.
you stand a very, very good chance of being, well, you have the possibility of being turned down,
I got the answer.
okay?
Okay.
So you might
Yeah.
want to have Kirk reach out to the building department to get a little bit more information and potentially issue an interpretation on those provisions that may impact your application.
Right, so, and then we should come on for another ZBA?
It depends on how that goes, on how the owner wants to proceed. I would say that's the first step, but it sounds like you're requesting that the board adjourn it to the November meeting to keep it open so that you have this opportunity.
Great.
Let me just ask a question of the assistant building inspector. Just based on the information we have, could you answer these questions, or do you need this additional information?
No, I need additional information. I need additional information.
Okay. Respect everyone. It's okay. I mean, I'm not saying I'm 50 years in the line, so it's okay.
Should we also suggest to him that there is this branch of the decision-making that goes back in the direction of having to have someone to answer questions about the landscaping around the retaining walls, and that if it
Well,
goes that way, again, there needs to be somebody who can speak to those issues.
It all depends where the first step should be. The person should discuss it
Yeah.
with the building department, because of the fact that if they make a determination that this could fit in to a two-family, two-story house, and that the basement here now is not a story, and we could grant that type of a variance, that's one thing. If they can't, then we might have to go on to that next step.
Right. So I think what you need is to come back in November, and then one way or the other, and we'll have either a conversation about whether or not it's now understood to be a two-story. If not, then we're back to retaining walls, and somebody needs to be able to answer those
so
landscape
November should be
architecture
here an
kinds of
engineer.
questions. Pardon?
November should be here an engineer.
Right.
I'll be a month elder, so,
Okay.
okay?
Okay,
Anything else?
and the best thing would be, believe me, to have the engineer or architect or the people who drew up the plans
To show up.
speak to either the building inspector or
Right.
the assistant building inspector
Before November, in the meantime.
before.
Okay? Thank you very much.
Okay.
We do need a motion to adjourn after you see if anybody here from the public.
Okay,
Did you want to open it to the public?
well, this has been,
Continuation.
it's already been open to the public. We've had testimony from the public. If there's anybody else here from the public who would like to state anything, please step forward.
November 14th.
Okay.
Was that the
That's your November date,
14th?
14th.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn this matter until November 14th.
I'll second that.
All in favor? say
I,
Aye.
aye.
Okay.
It's just become so much more complex now with the,
Indeed. This one certainly has been caught up in some things.
Okay. All right, next item on the agenda is the application of Shakima Cheek for an area variance from the table of district and use bulk regulations in SR 20 zoning district to permit the construction of a rear and front addition to a single-family residence which was damaged by fire, as well as an area variance for pool setback and allowable floor area ratio. The property, which is the subject of the action, is located in SR 20 district and is identified as section 222, block 1, lot 9 on the tax map, and is known as 37 Still Road. And the applicant is still not here. Okay. Where did we leave off? Was he supposed to submit something else?
Yeah.
yes, if,
There were maps that he was supposed to get from the county or tribal.
He was going to try, but I'm just saying, other than that, was there anything else? Because he already indicated that he tried to get maps. So we don't have an applicant. I guess in the absence of the applicant, I would move to adjourn his application till next month.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
let me just think this out.
Okay. Well, we have two
I-
choices. We can either decide the
I-
application without him, or adjourn it because they're not here, maybe.
Now, my only thought is that, again, we're in the cusp of a change of the zoning code, and a particular section has been proposed to change the fall law.
What does that have to do with this application?
Well, if we dismiss the application because they're not here,
I didn't suggest dismissing it, I just
no.
suggested adjourning it.
This is just my thought.
Okay.
Dismissing it because they're not there, and have them refile again, they would refile under the current law, if that law is passed by
I think
the trustees.
the board's job is to apply the law that's in effect at the time we make the decision. So it doesn't matter whether he rescinds or withdraws and refiles, whatever the law is at the time we make the decision, that's the law we apply.
And I
So
think
if it changes between now and then,
Right, they can submit additional arguments, under whatever the law is at that time, if it does change. But I don't want you to get into a situation where then they actually have to ask for a rehearing, because a rehearing can only be granted by a unanimous vote, anything like that. I think.
Okay, as long as that is the factor there, then I would be okay with adjourning it to November, and we'll see what the law is at that time.
yeah, I mean, it's very unlike Mr. Demaco not to appear, not to send a letter, not to send an email. So,
Especially since he was upstairs.
yeah,
right.
yeah. Maybe he's on up there and
No,
He-
done.
they're done?
He's been done.
Okay,
David was heard first, so he was,
okay.
yeah.
Maybe he
So-
can set up with the 2 meetings.
Yeah, I think he might have
Be here
just
tomorrow night.
forgot, so. Elizabeth, anything
was trying to hold
else
back
to
on
add?
mine.
Okay. So we had a motion to adjourn it to November 14th, seconded, no further discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Sorry, me again, sorry.
I'm
That's,
sorry.
that's the gunshot you're gonna hear.
But this time I didn't save you, I leaned back.
Who seconded that? Elizabeth?
No, John,
Okay.
okay, would you send him an email letting him know that we adjourned the application? So for any members of the public that are here with regard to, you know what? Are any members of the public here with regard to this application before we Move it on? Okay. All right, so, the application is adjourned to November 14th, 2023. And you'll notify Mr. Demaco. All right, next item, old business. Any old business?
Oh, we still have, if we're going by the agenda, the September 12th meeting, we also have to do. We did the August 8th, but there's two.
Did we get September 12th? I don't remember seeing them.
It would have come in an email, maybe it's sent. All right, well.
Anybody see them?
What's
No.
that?
September 12th minutes?
No.
No,
All
okay.
right, then we can't vote on
We
it.
we
All right.
could use those.
So we'll put September 12th and these minutes on for the next agenda.
Okay.
Okay? New business. We have no new applications. As was indicated in your first hearing, there were a series of brand-new laws that were adopted by the Village Board of Trustees in the last month. A lot of them pertain to the zoning code. So if everybody has not read them, please familiarize yourself with them. And, stow them away. Stow them away. I guess update your book, but we don't do that anymore. Do we still, Mayor, is General Code still handing out supplements to the books? They are? Okay.
I have a book upstairs if you ever want it.
No, I have a book at home and a lot of
Then you probably.
supplements that are still in the envelope, so for me to sit down and update my General Code book would probably take me a couple hours. And it's not worth the effort when with a click it's available.
Mine is completely up to date. You're welcome to view it at any time. Anybody is.
Sometimes it's nice to just flip the pages.
Yeah, I always like flipping through pages. That's why I print them out all the time. Okay, anything else?
Nope.
Nothing else by anybody? Okay, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, show us adjourned at 8:38.
8:36 according to my thing. Oh,
8:36?
that's what my thing says.
8:38, it looks to me.
Just go by that one.
I'm the chairman, 8:38.
I just would've looked at my phone.
All right,
That's
all
what
in
I did.
favor?